Park Ranger Tom reporting for duty.
Put all your stuff away and check out for the day. There's no time to waste when it's 100 degrees. Burns under my feet. Won't you have a drink with me? We head into town, see what it's about. Barely need a shirt though the sun has almost set. Make the most of it. I know we will dance and sing. There's a heat wave. There's a heat wave rolling in. There's a heat wave, yeah. There's a party in the streets and the city's on fire.
So, if we're all ready, please gather around in a nice big arc so I can speak to all of you. So, we are here at Gardner Cave. Gardner Cave is, in particular, a very interesting type of habitat. Does anybody know what a habitat is? You. I'm gonna go with you.
Places where animals like to live.
It is exactly that. It is where animals live. So I'm going to show you a couple of animals that we have sometimes roaming through this park. I want you to tell me what animal they are and what their habitat is. Does anybody know what this is? You know. What is it?
Mouse.
Oh, he's not a mouse. He's a type of rat. Does anybody know what type of rat?
Cave rat.
Cave rat? More specifically, you know?
It's a
You ever heard of a pack rat? He's a bushy-tailed wood rat. You can tell he's got this big furry tail here. We'll talk about what they use their furry tail for and the reason why they have fur on it when we go down there. But what is their habitat? Yes.
in tunnels.
In the caves. Yes, that's exactly right. So this is the native species of the cave. This little guy here, this bushy-tailed wood rat. Fact,
Yeah.
if I dig around in my backpack, I can introduce you to, everybody say hi, to Pat the pack rat. He says hi. Yes, you may.
Oh, he's that cutie. Only if we could see a real pack rat in the cave.
Oh man, I wish, but they are all probably going to be sleeping when we go down in there. So that's why I showed you Pat. So Pat is a pack rat. He is nocturnal. Does anybody know what it means to be nocturnal? Yes?
That means they wake up at night.
That means they are awake at night. Yes, exactly. And they sleep during the day. So they are going to be sleeping in their nest. We're probably not going to see them. If you do capture one on film, that will be absolutely amazing if you do. But I don't be expecting that. So that's why we show you Pat here. Pat doesn't have a cute backpack in real life. He goes out to the forest floor. He goes down here and he collects all the stuff he wants to bring back to build in his nest in his mouth. And so he travels all throughout here and he's picking up stuff, and he's picking up like little twigs and leaves and pine needles, and he brings them back and uses them to build his nest. We're going to see some of those nests when we go down in there. Yes, you have a question.
Is there actually a pack rat named Pat in the tunnel?
If you see one, we'll name him Pat, okay?
If I see him, I'm gonna name it Dave. I'm gonna name it Pancake.
Dave the pack rat.
I'm gonna name it Pancake. Pancake for the fat rat.
Wonderful. Whoever sees him first will get naming rights. Deal?
I want to name him Pancake.
That's a great name. All right. As far as we know, this cave was discovered in 1899 by Ed Gardner. Came up here on a trip up to Canada to pick up shipments of illegal whiskey And it was on one of these trips that he came by. Here in the winter, the cave was pouring out clouds of steam because the cave stays warmer than the ambient temperature does in winter. So that water vapor coming out condenses into clouds of steam. An unusual sight to see in the middle of the woods, a big hole in the ground pouring out clouds of steam. So he comes to investigate, tells all his friends about it, and they come to investigate. Eventually, when he dies, the land passes into the hands of Bill Crawford, who then donates to the state parks with an eye towards boosting tourism in this, as you've probably noticed, quite remote corner of Washington. Seems to have worked, so the parks have managed it ever since 1927. Yes. So I mentioned, remember this cave formed from the dissolving of limestone? Of course, anything that you dissolve, if you then remove the water, you can undissolve. So you dissolve some sugar into tea, you let the tea evaporate, eventually you get solid sugar back. And we've got the same thing going on here with this. This is called a flow stone, so called because water flows over it to form it. Starts out as just a little drip coming down off the ceiling. Every time one of those drops lands, it deposits a small amount of calcite, and I do mean a small amount of calcite. A feature like this grows at the rate of about half an inch every 100 years. Some of you are at the age where you're growing half an inch every 4 months or so. This thing, though, half an inch every 100 years. Imagine making it to 100 and only being half an inch tall. No, there's no snow now. Now we have the oldest signature in the cave on this feature here. It's on the uphill side on that little flange sticking out there. Right at the base in pencil is written the name Pearl, dated August 1912. What? Pearl came down here in 1912 before there were any stairs and any lights, so she had to travel by candlelight and then shimmy down on ropes to get to this point. She made it a lot further than Mike and Bill did, I will have you note, and she did all of that while wearing an ankle-length dress, as was the style for women at the time. Do you guys see her signature over there? It's very faint and has been covered up with 100 years of calcite growth, but her name is still there. You know, if you were to write your name in the walls today, it'd be considered graffiti, but if you did it 100 years ago, then it's considered history, and it's very interesting to remark upon. The lights are going to go off in 3, 2, 1.